Just setting aside the issue, and if I could just get you to look into the camera rather than your monitor, that would be terrific. Thank you. Setting aside the issue of the taxation, can I just ask you initially about the infrastructure program itself and how important that will be to help get those 18 million Americans back to work who are currently claiming benefits?
Actually, in terms of that, I don't think it's going to be a big push. It will not help that much because the infrastructure program that he's talking about is going to be a long-term effort. It's nothing that's going to start this quarter or even possibly this year. I think this bill is going to be debated a long time in Congress. There's going to be a lot of changes made. And we probably won't see anything happening from this legislation until next year. And even then, many of the projects that he's talking about are going to be spread out over several years. So this is not a near-term stimulus package. This is truly long-term investment that he's talking about. It will bring long-term gains if he can get the package through Congress, but nothing near-term in order to give the economy a push over the next couple quarters.
Okay, let's just park that for a moment here and just talk about the level of debt at the federal level that we have. Clearly, the president has taken advice and is focusing on the tax necessary to help support this plan, but also to meet current funding needs. Is there any reason to be concerned about the level of debt in the federal budget at this stage? Is it having an impact on the Treasury curve?
Right now, I don't think it's having that much of an impact. The Treasury has not had any trouble funding the deficit that it's looking at so far. And the attitude in Washington has been that the debt is not a problem at this time. Personally, I think it is a concern because interest rates probably will not be at current levels indefinitely into the future. At some point, they're going to have to begin refinancing the debt that they're issuing now at higher interest rates. And I think that will create quite a burden on the federal budget. And I think it's going to have implications for the economy and financial markets.
Holding the conservative arm of the Democratic Party in check, it's going to be very interesting. And I was obviously straight away, like everyone, I go straight to see what Mr. Manchin in West Virginia thinks about this kind of thing. And he seems to be a big supporter of corporate taxation, of course, rather than increasing debt. Does that mean actually that the president can corral in both houses the US Democratic Party to pass this, and even if you say on an elevated timescale?
Yeah, Manchin's an interesting guy. He has supported heavy infrastructure spending, and I suspect he'd be willing to tax corporations in order to pay for it. But there are other moderate Democrats, I think, that will have some concern about the deficit, and he might have a little trouble getting this through. I think there's going to be a lot of debate and changes to this legislation. Something else that's interesting and might get some resistance from Democrats is the nature of the spending. There's a lot of things in there that are not your traditional infrastructure spending, such as the support for housing. He's talking about boosting healthcare services for in-home healthcare. He's doing job training programs. These are not your traditional infrastructure spending, and some moderate Democrats might say, let's stick to traditional infrastructure, especially when the nation needs so much along these lines.